Do you yourself like riding on a train? I love to ride on trains.
CBS News was there back in 1971 when the first Amtrak train arrived in New York City. 45 years later, the railroad is setting ridership records and planning to introduce new trains. It's also moving forward under new leadership and a president-elect promising investment in America.
We are going to fix our inner cities and rebuild our highways, bridges, tunnels, airports, schools, hospitals. We're going to rebuild our infrastructure, which will become, by the way, second to none.
Wick Moorman will be watching very closely. He took over as Amtrak's president and CEO back in September. Moorman spent more than 40 years at Norfolk Southern, one of the nation's biggest transportation companies. He joins us now for an interview that you will see first on CBS This Morning. Wick, it's very good to see you.
Thank you. It's great
First
to be
Wick
here.
I've ever met. We'll ask you about that a little bit later on. You'll be glad to know that we have all taken trains at this table.
Good.
And Amtrak has received a $2.4 billion loan for infrastructure improvements and new high-speed trains.
Right.
So how soon will that happen, and what kind of a difference will the passengers see?
Well, we expect delivery of the new trains to start in 2019, but it's essentially a 2020 product. It's going to be a great new product. It replaces the Acela, which you all are very much aware of. And by the way, when you ride, please pay full fare. We need all the revenue we can get. But
I think
how do we ride and not pay full fare? Yeah. Those must be your other friends named Gail. We always pay full fare.
Or how do you get a discount?
Yes.
I know, what are we missing?
Yes.
It's going to be a great new product. It's going to be state-of-the-art technology. The trains actually are going to be bigger, so we will not have quite the crowding and the difficulty of getting people onto Acela, which is a popular product. We're going to have more train sets, so we're going to have more high-speed frequencies.
Faster? They'll be faster?
They, as we upgrade the infrastructure, they will be faster and faster and faster, although there are limitations because of the way the route is designed on how fast we can go.
I know that Acela can reach, I guess, 150 miles per hour. Is that correct? But the average speed is so much slower. Why is that? Why can't we have fast trains or even faster trains?
Right. It's a really good question, and the limitation is the fact that the railroad was built basically in the 19th century, and the curvature primarily is such that it doesn't allow for high speed. Curvature is what limits speeds. So you'd have to go build a whole new route.
And how much would that cost between D.C. and New York?
You know, I haven't seen the latest estimates, but it's tens and tens of billions of dollars.
I mean, you have to go buy the land and...
You have to go buy the land, you have to engineer it, you have to go through an enormous planning process. It's not that it couldn't happen or shouldn't happen, it's just something that is a long way away.
After that train crash in Hoboken, there were renewed calls for it's called the Positive Train Control System.
Right.
What can you tell us about where Amtrak stands on that?
Amtrak has positive train control installed on the entire corridor with the exception of, I think, a couple of very small terminal areas. But the positive train control ensures that the trains, even when they get there, are going at the appropriate speed. So PTC is all across the corridor. Right.
Can I ask you about security? One of the things I love about the train is you don't have to take off your shoes, take off your belt, do the hokey pokey, and turn yourself around to get on the train.
Absolutely.
But it also raises questions to me about security. I always wonder what's being done, how safe the train is. Every time I'm on it, I'm looking around, checking things out.
Well, I think. And first of all, when you talk about all the advantages, remember no middle seat either. So, but security is a really interesting question. And safety, obviously from a safety standpoint, Amtrak is very focused and we're a very safe way to travel.
Less than a minute.
From a security standpoint, we have our own police force. We have a big police presence around our terminals. We have, you know, all kinds of things in terms of cameras. We have things that I really don't even need to discuss. But we focus on security in a big way.
What would you like to see from a new administration?
Well, I think what the administration is talking about in terms of infrastructure investment is absolutely critical, not only for Amtrak, but for our country.
All right.
And hopefully we'll be there.
Wick Moorman, great to have you
so much.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, looking forward to those new trains.
Absolutely.
I'm curious about the name Wick, but okay.
Okay.
The Southern name.
The Southern name?
It's a Southern name. Yes, that's good enough.
Great.
Mississippi and New Orleans.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
We've jumped the rails.